Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Lentini, founder of Lord and Lentini Training for Life. And the Acorn Brain is my trademark. What I talk to people about is how to manage the thoughts in their head that are negative. And I have programs that address that. And then the other thing I wanted to address today is that people ask me, knowing my near death experience, well, what's it like to die? Here's what I say. Number one, live fully. You only have now. And there have been many sages and wise people who have talked about that from thousands of years ago up to modern times, including Eckhart Tolle or Ram Dass, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer. So live now. Read The God of Spinoza. Google this, The God of Spinoza. And I put that, his excerpt, his writing on what his belief was about God and living, I included in all my books. So the God of Spinoza. And that was something that Einstein answered. He'd say, when people asked him, what's your idea of God? He'd say, go read the God of Spinoza. Now, he also said, the superior reasoning power that created this unimaginable universe forms my idea of God. So he answered those two ways. But in my experience, now again, this is my experience. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. The key was I wasn't living in the now. I mean, occasionally, I'm embarrassed to say that I was 50 and living mostly in the past with regrets, or in the future wanting something other than what I had in my life, right? It even sounds crazy, wanting something other than I had. Now, it's okay to have a goal and a picture of that as long as we don't let that run our life, take us away from the moment. And what I experienced was from intensive care 1 second to one with everything and nothing, immense light, immense grace, immense mercy, love. And those words do not do it justice. So that's where I learned to be in the now. And I can tell you, the crazy thoughts that occupy at least my mind, and from talking to people, thankfully, when I ask the question by a show of hands, how many people have an insidious little voice that talks to them all day long, sometimes even 24 hours, maybe interrupting a good night's sleep? Thankfully, many raise their hands. I'm not the only one, I know that. What I can tell you is that doesn't go with us. That's a relief. And death was merely another moment. There was no time separation, no veil. It was in intensive care with two friends at the end of my bed. And then I was one with everything and nothing, one with the infinite, one with God, the goddess, the divine, the Brahma, the Buddha, the Christ consciousness, the Abraham consciousness, the Muhammad consciousness. Whatever you want to call it, it had no name, as Lao Tzu wrote about in the Tao Te Ching. And this is something you have to prove to yourself. See, most humans follow anything or anyone blindly. That's what a large percent of the population does, even making others wrong if they disagree. If you don't follow my religion, oh, you're going to hell. Just think about how crazy that is when we live in a universe that anything small-minded, by the way, anything small-minded, if it sounds small-minded, it didn't come from the creator of an unimaginable universe, an infinite universe that we're still learning about. You go back before the large telescopes, there were things so big in the universe that we couldn't see them. We're still discovering large things. And as the telescopes get better and better, I'm sure we will continue to amaze ourselves. The James Webb Telescope discovered an exoplanet or something spinning like a planet or a star faster than a kitchen blender, 756 times per second. They have no idea why. That is enough for me to question my thinking. When I come to a rigid conclusion about anything, I know it's my ego. And our job here is to ruthlessly smash our ego, is to get over ourselves. John Maxwell likes to say that. Our primary purpose in life is to get over ourselves. That's where I say we're all full of shit somewhere. That's where I wrote the book, You Might Be Full of Shit If. And then for those offended by the profanity, I wrote You Might Be Full of Number 2. After all, we know better, the woke edition. And I make fun of no one. What I make fun of is small-minded thinking, my own small-minded thinking. Because back in my body, that came back. That came back. And my near-death experience was like a play. It was like a scene and a scene and a scene, because there was no past or future, only the now. The divine walks with us. That's my next book, 24-Hour Good News. The infinite walks with us. It's never separate. We separate ourselves. So what is a challenge for the Acorn Brain is to welcome anything that shows up in any moment, anyone or anything that shows up in our lives as part of God, the divine, the goddess, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, the infinite, the universe, and to embrace what shows up. That's my most recent book that just got published last month, In Plain Sight. Here, let me pull it back so maybe you can see. Learn to see what most people miss and embrace life as it is. But if you go to Amazon or SteveLentiniAuthor.com, you can find all my books. Where that's my work to do. And it came about synchronicity. It came about through synchronicity. It turned into my synchrodestiny, as Deepak Chopra likes to call it. And if we don't welcome every event in our life as part of the divine, we'll miss what's in plain sight, which is life guiding us. Life is for us. You see, and most of the population lives in complaints and grievances, making others wrong, and we got to change their minds. Whether it's religion or politics or whatever, work, boss, the boss. We live in a state of complaint and grievance. And by the way, that blocks our good from coming to us. That actually delays the path that life is urging you to take through synchronicities, through challenges, through times you define as difficult. And maybe, especially others we define as difficult, because they're in my experience, my greatest teachers. I learned the most from people that really bugged me. And now I welcome them. Okay, there's something here, I say to myself. There's something for me to learn. There's growth here. It doesn't mean that they don't have what my mind would accuse them of. They might be arrogant or obnoxious or petty. I just have to look at where I have been the same way. Looking at life as a mirror and for us, life as a friend, which I write about in my book, How to Train Your Mind, written by a dragon. It's an opposing view to the brain, because the brain will tell you that they're wrong and you're right. The ego wants to be right. That's why people defend when they're accused of something. Even Reese agrees. You hear him barking? Enjoy this existence. Get up every day and say, this is a fantastic day. And be ready to embrace what comes. Start with your gratitudes when you wake up. What are you grateful for? Hey, I'm grateful I woke up in this physical existence. And you'll be grateful on the other side. There is nothing to fear. I suggest that we should call death, what's next? What's next? There's always a next in this universe. This thing that we're discovering that took 13.8 billion years, I mean, according to our knowledge, according to physicists, to get here to this moment, it took 13.8 billion years. Now, how many billions of years will this existence continue? I don't know. I don't care. I only have my existence today. Today. And that's my work. It impacts leaders. It impacts salespeople. It impacts anyone who wants to change how they look at life. To change from living as a victim of woe, a tale of woe, with grievances and complaints and gossiping about others. If you can't share something with the person who you complain about or the complaint you're carrying in your head, then it's just gossip. You might be gossiping to yourself. Maybe you haven't shared it with anybody, but you're carrying around the grievance. It's delaying your good. And don't take my word for it. Never follow anyone or anything blindly. I don't say to anyone, I found the way. In fact, I tell my clients, if I ever tell you I found the way, run away and then check in with me in a few weeks. There's something amazing that you can prove to yourself by paying attention to synchronicities, paying attention to the times you feel angry, anxious, frustrated, to those events and those people. They're guiding you to growth. Because without all that, we wouldn't know we were alive. If it was just, hey, how was your day? Like every other day. Nothing occurred. Nothing occurred that challenged me. I'm flowing through life with grace and ease. And you can do that by welcoming anything that shows up. When we pay attention fully to anything in our life and we're with it fully, we become all that we were meant to be. And that's up to you. Prove it to yourself. Live in this miracle as a magical, infinite existence, knowing I'm here now and I know I'll never not. You'll know you'll never not be in some form of existence because energy cannot be destroyed. The universe is energy. How about this? Do what energizes you and see what occurs in your life. Let go of your complaints and your grievances and prove it to yourself. You can reach out to me for questions. I'm glad to help anybody. Steve at stevelentini.com. I'll show you how to spell my name right here. Just add Steve at stevelentini.com. Steve at stevelentini.com. I'm glad to help. Just prove all this to yourself. Then you own it. You can make your life amazing.